Hello and welcome to our presentation from the Classic Sale in Sydney. It's been a pretty easy sale to buy a nice horse, nowhere near as strong as last year's edition of this sale, being the first one out at their new complex. So we've been up here for almost a week and been lucky enough to sort of secure a couple of really nice horses, two of which I offer you today. I'm sure as most of you are aware that I'm a Star came out of this sale. She was a $40,000 purchase and she's now won in excess of $1.5 million. So you can find the gems here. You just got to look really hard for them. So the first filly I showed you today is a Chestnut filly, lot 208, the Shooting to Win filly, out of a Fast and Famous mare that won $218,000, plenty of Metropolitan Melbourne winning. Out of it, she's a daughter of Highgrove. Highgrove's 3 times Group 1 placed. So I thought she was a ripping type, really strong runner. Shooting to Wins has started to step out now, their oldest crop of 2, and you'll know that the Shooting to Win colt was narrowly beaten in the 2-year-old race at Melbourne on Saturday in the Blue Diamond preview, and he's probably going to go in the Blue Diamond as one of the favourites. So I'm trying to buy horses that are priced to suit my client base, and then they can and they've got to get the ones on the up where you think the stallion's going to have a fairly successful career, etc. So 50,000 plus GST. So that's what we sell them at. There's a bit of vetting in the entry to the race series, but you can pretty much work on, it'll be about a $58,000 total buy. So for 10% it'd be under $6,000, and obviously under $3,000 for 5%. So get in contact with me about that one. And here we have lot 892, a Wandjina colt out of a very fast Zazu mare, who in turn was out of a Snippets mare. Just give him a parade, please. So we purchased him for $40,000. Now I believe that he is an early going horse and an early type 2-year-old, which obviously suits this climate up here. If you're looking for something to try and get into a Magic Millions race, I believe this is the kind of horse. Really neat horse. I've had a bit of luck with Zazu mares. They're quite quick, a pure speed horse. And as you can see, he's a lovely striding, lovely moving, strong, well built, well set colt. Wandjina the Stallion's first crop are now 2-year-olds, and he's had a little bit of success so far. So I think this is potentially a really cheap horse that might go as an early 2-year-old. Now, I'm seriously considering make this a ladies only syndicate, which means that for the Magic Millions race, if we happen to get to the race, the first fully owned ladies horse home receives a $500,000 bonus or part thereof, first, second and third. So Dubious ran second yesterday. It was a fully lady owned horse, so they collected the lion's share of $500,000 and didn't actually win the race. So I'd like this to be a ladies syndicate horse, but he's just a good type and correct. So $40,000, the costing is, we sell them at cost, so I pay $40,000 for him plus GST. We entered him in the race series, which is $4,950. He's had a scope and vetting, so they're only $165 each, and then he's obviously insured, which we'll charge later on when we receive the policy. So just a nice neat colt, and if you want to be involved, just get in contact with me either on the phone or via the email, but I'd imagine it'd be reasonably popular and we'll get him done fairly quickly. Just give a close up of his head. There you go. Good looking rooster, ain't you, buddy? All right, this was really early on the Sunday, so I think if this horse went through later in the day, probably bring 60 to 80, but passed all the vetting and everything else. So nice horse. All right, cheers. Hear from you soon.